You've been learning Spanish for a while, you know words, you recognize phrases, you understand a lot when you read or listen, but when you try to speak, your brain does this. English, translate word by word, get stuck, panic, silence. If that's you, this video is going to feel like a complete reset. Because today I'm going to show you why translating in your head doesn't work and how to stop doing it step by step, even if you are not advanced yet. Translating feels logical. English is your base language, so you grab an English sentence and try to replace each word with Spanish. The problem is that languages don't match word by word. They match at the level of ideas, patterns, and chunks. Look at this. I miss you. Most English speakers think yo te something, but in Spanish we say te echo de menos, or in Latin America, te extraño. There is no direct word for word mapping. It's a different structure for the same feeling. Or take I'm sleepy. In English, you use I am plus adjective. In Spanish, we don't. We say tengo frío, tengo hambre, tengo sueño, or I'm 30 years old. That's in English. But in Spanish, tengo 30 años. Or I'm looking for my keys. Many learners say estoy mirando para mis llaves, which sounds unnatural. This is not correct. In Spanish, we say estoy buscando mis llaves. There is no for here because buscar already includes that idea. So when you try to force one-to-one equivalence, you either sound strange, make mistakes all the time, or get stuck because you cannot find the exact word. And the worst part is that your brain is doing heavy, slow work. You take an English sentence, cut it into words, translate each one, and then try to glue them back together. That's why you can know Spanish but not use it. So to fix this, we need to change what your brain focuses on when you speak. Easy. The goal is not I will just translate faster in my head. The goal is I stop translating words and start using Spanish patterns and chunks directly. Think of it like this. English is one operating system. Spanish is another operating system. You cannot run Spanish apps on the English system. You have to switch systems. So instead of thinking, how do I say this English sentence in Spanish, you want to think, what is the Spanish way to express this idea? But I know that sounds abstract. So let's make it extremely concrete with tools you can start using today. The first tool is chunk thinking. A chunk is a small piece of language you learn as a whole, not as a separate word. For example, tener plus noun. Tengo hambre, tengo frío, tengo tiempo, or tener que plus infinitive, which means to have to do something. Tengo que estudiar, tengo que llamar a mi madre, or ir a plus infinitive, which means to be going to do something. Voy a trabajar, voy a cocinar, voy a viajar a España. Each of these is a pattern. Once you know the pattern, you don't translate, you just plug in a verb. Think of 3 things you have to do tomorrow and say them with tengo que plus infinitive. The more chunks you collect, the less your brain needs English. You are not thinking, how do I say this word? You are thinking, which chunk do I use here? The second tool is idea first rewriting. This is where the real magic happens. Instead of trying to translate your English sentence, you rewrite the idea in a way that sounds natural in Spanish. Take I had a good time. A literal brain says tuve un buen tiempo, which of course is wrong. Natural Spanish is lo pasé bien or me lo pasé muy bien. Another example, I can't wait to see you. Literal, no puedo esperar verte. People understand it, but it's not the most natural. Natural Spanish is tengo muchas ganas de verte. Or another example, we hang out every Friday. Literal, colgamos fuera cada viernes. It's like, it has no sense. Natural Spanish would be quedamos todos los viernes. Another one, it makes me happy. Literal, lo hace me feliz. Natural Spanish, me hace feliz. You see what's going on? You are not improving your translation. You are abandoning translation and asking a different question. How would a Spanish speaker say this? Here's a very powerful exercise. Take one or two English sentences from your daily life. First, write the English version. Then, write your literal translation in Spanish, even if it's wrong. It doesn't matter. And then, think about or look for the natural Spanish version. For example, I'm just kidding. Literal, solo estoy bromeando. That's okay, but it's not what people say most of the time. Natural Spanish is es broma or estoy de broma. If you do this regularly, even 5 minutes a day, you literally rewire your brain from English-based thinking to Spanish-based thinking. And by the way, if you ever want someone to guide you through this process with real examples from your own life, so you don't have to guess, you will find help in the description. But let's keep going. The third tool is building your personal Spanish brain file. This can be a notebook, a Google Doc, or the Notes app on your phone. Inside that file, you only write chunks and patterns, never isolated words. You organize it with simple sections like tener patterns, quedar patterns, ganas patterns, or everyday reactions. For example, tengo hambre, tengo frío, tengo prisa, tengo ganas de plus infinitive, quedamos mañana, quedamos a las 7, ¿dónde quedamos? ¿Qué? Why? No pasa nada. Da igual. Qué fuerte. So, as you can see, every time you hear or see a phrase you like or that expresses something you often say in English, you add it to this file in its full Spanish form, not as English to Spanish vocabulary. Then you practice these chunks out loud in mini sessions. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. You are not studying words, you are upgrading your operating system. I can guarantee you that if you do this for a few weeks, something crazy happens. You start answering faster, you don't need to think in English first, and phrases just come out in Spanish. And that's exactly what we want. So, to stop translating word by word in your head, you don't need to be a genius and you don't need more apps. You need to accept that English and Spanish don't match word by word. That's it. They match at the level of ideas and patterns. You need to think in chunks, not words. You need to rewrite ideas the way a Spanish speaker would say them, asking how do they say this instead of how do I translate this. And you need to build and use your Spanish brain file, collecting real chunks, practicing them aloud, and reusing them. If you do just these things consistently, your brain won't have time or energy to keep translating from English. It will naturally switch to Spanish mode. So if this felt like a bit of a masterclass and things finally clicked for you, just know this. There is a way to take this much farther with guidance, structure, and support. If at some point you want to stop guessing, stop feeling stuck, and actually speak Spanish in real conversations without translating in your head all the time, you will find more information in the description about how I work with my students. No pressure at all, just know the option is there. So, thank you very much and hasta luego.